It must suck to be a toy in Poppy Playtime because you're inherently evil. No questions asked, but even the devil was once an angel. So why not think the same way about Playtime Co's creepy evil toys? Toys in Poppy Playtime aren't all that horrendous, unless you read up on their backstory. Mommy Longlegs, Bunzo Bunny, and Boxy Boo are all pretty cute. Huggy Wuggy is also bearable if he keeps his giant mouth with weird strings and fangs closed. It's almost as if these toys weren't inherently evil. This could be a possibility if we break down some key details and dive deep into the cursed toy factory. It all began sometime in the 1930s when a grieving Elliot Ludwig had the wild idea of bringing the dead back to life. Whether it was his idea is still up for discussion. After suffering a tragic loss, which is also presumed to be the loss of his young daughter, he decided to spread happiness among children by building toys. Sounds like a wholesome story, but it has many layers. Before we uncover what really went wrong with the toys, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. If you're keen to know more about the hotly anticipated Poppy Playtime Chapter 3, you're in the right place. We have already dissected the clues and hints in the latest teaser trailer for Chapter 3. Spoiler alert, things get a lot creepier, and you don't want to miss out, so make sure you have your notifications turned on. All signs so far point to toys being sentient, with actual humans, worst of all, real children inside them. Except they look and act nothing like innocent children. Elliot's first recorded experiment, Experiment 814, was on a rat. It would later evolve into a successful project, Poppy.
Playtime! Poppy's as lovable as a real girl, and she talks like one too.
Hi, my name is Poppy. I love you. Can you help me polish my shoes?
This doll, who talks, would set a solid base for more sentient toys, initially created to boost company revenue by reducing labor costs. The infamous Big Bodies initiative was supposed to employ massive toys in Playtime Co., free of cost to tackle the children suitable to be turned into playthings. The two labor toys, Mommy Longlegs and Huggy Wuggy, ended up becoming a major hit among the children. Playtime Co., being a greedy company, saw that as the perfect opportunity to make bag and decide to sell them as playable dolls. This continued for years, and Playtime Co.'s sales skyrocketed as expected. The co-founder, Elliot Ludwig, and the mastermind behind the Big Body initiative, Harley Sawyer, were over the moon before the Hour of Joy happened. The origin story of toys is simple. Playtime was comfortably manufacturing sentient dolls. What triggered the Hour of Joy, and why exactly? The experiment subjects were primarily children, with some adults here and there. For example, Experiment 1199, Brawn. Once the humans were turned into toys, they lost most of their memory, so they had to be disciplined. Unfortunately, most initial experiments, including 1222 and 1170, were rejected. So how did Playtime manage to get them to watch over children? Way before the Hour of Joy, Mommy Longlegs had started to show resistance and signs of instability. From her personality, she seemed like an adult who had motherly traits before she was turned into a painfully pink toy.
It was always so sad to see the kids go. They called me Mommy because I was the closest thing they ever had to one. But they come for games and never come back. They left.
The transfer request document revealed that Mommy was often hostile towards the staff, which made her a safety risk.
But you worked here. So if anyone deserves to die alone, it's you.
It's possible that Playtime would try to discipline or put them in their place, in Playtime's words, so they do their jobs properly. Mommy's transfer request mentions that she was sent to an unknown location for her conditioning. It's unknown how they conditioned her, but knowing Playtime, it doesn't sound like a picnic. This said conditioning could be why toys went insane. In the larger picture, even if the kids aren't aware of what happened to them and are okay with their life post-transfer, they do feel pain even after being turned into toys. Constant mistreatment and torture could be the reason they grow to hate their proctor and Playtime in general, leading to a revolt. If it's not conditioning, then it could be this unknown gas that makes them sleepy and eventually delirious. Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 has 8 smiling critters at the center, and the recent ARG clip shows 7 of them behaving like normal children, scared of the dark. However, the 8th critter, now called Catnap, presumed to be the antagonist, is different. He doesn't speak and appears to be an elder leader of the group. It's worth noting that they think of Catnap as their friend or a savior, smiling wide when they spot him in the doorway. The purple cat then blows out a red smoke out of his mouth, which instantly puts the scared baby critters to sleep. It's also interesting that these toys don't display hostility like other toys in Poppy Playtime, and then Catnap exposes them to the toxic red gas. It's highly possible that other orphan toys behaved similarly until they went crazy after inhaling an excess of this red gas regularly, eventually becoming deranged like Catnap. Another possible explanation is that the toys are more intelligent than previously believed, and they were aware of the experiments being conducted and just wanted to avenge themselves. Even if they didn't, it's hard to look the other way when you're literally a security guard employed to watch the kids 24/7. Huggy Wuggy is pretty creepy, but even he couldn't watch the kids turned into plushies. The theory makes the most sense since the kids aren't in the factory by their choice, but they can certainly try to leave. Existing toys were likely just trying to stop the bigger body's initiative, which makes them less inhumane. Revenge would be a natural reaction to anyone who discovers that they have been turned into a giant plushie against their will. However, even as vengeful sentients, the toys can be a bit too psycho. We have an explanation for that as well. Have you ever seen bones or marrow coming out of a dead toy? When the shredder swallows Mommy Longlegs, she only oozes out pools of blood, but no bones. The same is the case for Huggy Wuggy as he slams into metal bars. It's possible that while toys have the soul of a human being, they don't have a fully functional brain and other human organs. Poppy Playtime maintenance VHS tape is also worth mentioning here, where we see the doctor pull a tiny voice box out of her nape, slathered in blood and goo. This further fuels the theory that these sentient toys may not have your regular tongue, heart, or brain. The toys might be behaving recklessly due to a lack of decision-making powers or a functional brain. They are human enough to engage in conversations with kids, but not capable of making sound decisions. This, or that these vengeful creatures are acting like a child would. While they do have a clear agenda, thanks to a guiding force we'll discuss later, they lack decision-making powers and work in a questionable, childish manner.
One last game! It's called Hide and Seek! 10, 9, 7, 6.
Our final guess is that these toys aren't evil at all. Mommy was defined as a motherly figure towards children who often acted up when the kids left. The document also revealed that she was hostile towards the scientists and personnel of Playtime Co. This fact suggests that maybe the toys were always warm and kind to the orphans and only revealed their wild side to the Playtime Co employees for obvious reasons. Rowan Stoll, who suspected that Huggy Wuggy was watching the children, was killed and discarded by Boxy Boo, who was deemed a successful experiment by Sawyer. Logically speaking, we have never seen the toys interact with the orphans, so they are likely just bitter to the designers of their misery, the employees. The player is an employee after all. At this point, the deadly attack on Braun is also of substance. The 59-year-old Playtime employee who willingly turned into a toy was instantly rejected by the orphan toys, who likely recognized him as an outsider who wasn't forced into this life. Knowing he was part of the company could be the driving factor behind this attack. So it's not entirely wild to think the toys were completely normal. They were just a bunch of kids trying to get revenge for the horrendous injustice done to them. In all cases, toys went evil because of the barbarity of Playtime Co., but Poppy Playtime is set more than 10 years after the Hour of Joy. Employees have disappeared, but the toys remained vicious. There's a solid explanation for this wild behavior, which may soften your heart towards them. Toys are kids who are just hungry. Hunger is mentioned multiple times in Prototype's monologue. Others are hungry. It has been confirmed that toys had a functioning digestive system, so they likely ate smaller toys and employees for survival.
The others are hungry. The others are starving.
The Hour of Joy freed them, but it also removed their primary source of nourishment, leaving them starved for years. This theory also ties in with the one we discussed in our earlier video. Our experiment 1006, also known as the prototype, attaches dead toys to his body, and now we know why he might do this. 1006 is probably trying to keep the orphan toys alive for as long as he can, since he doesn't need food to survive. So those attached to him still live despite being swallowed by a shredder. But when they are alive on their own, they try to run after ex-employees to get their fix for dinner. In all possible theories, toys aren't acting out of their personal will. It seems there's a greater force behind all of this. For example, this loading screen image seems innocuous at first, but it points at Mommy Longlegs being controlled by 1006. With recent Chapter 3 trailer, which has cultic themes and imagery in abundance, it's safe to say that the prototype has a greater plan to avenge the dead toys. However, it doesn't seem like the toys understand it completely. Remember Mommy Longlegs screaming in fear that 1006 would make her a part of himself?
What have you done? He'll make me part of him!
Whichever theory you choose, it presents toys in a light different from what we have seen in the game. We only see them interact with an ex-employee who held a decision-making position, so their hatred is valid in that context. However, their true nature will only be revealed when they interact with someone who didn't play a role in their hair-raising demise. Maybe they are actually just a bunch of angry kids. If you like this video, leave a like and subscribe to our channel because we have tons of similar theories on Poppy Playtime lore, Valorant, and more. With Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 approaching, you want to stay in the loop.